Hey guys, welcome to the StitchyJam knitting and sewing podcast. My name is Jay. I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia, and my channel is all about knitting, crafting, sewing. I love to garden. I love to thrift and anything creative. My channel is predominantly chatting about knitting and sewing, and a little bit of life stuff thrown in there as well. I live at home with my mum and my 2 cats, and welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. I hope you liked my little intro. I put a little intro in front of each video just to show what's sort of been happening in that week, and to sort of lead into having a chat with you guys. So welcome if it's your first time here, and welcome back if you are one of my lovely subscribers. I appreciate you. So for those that are new here, I am out of action knitting and sewing wise at the moment. I have got tendonitis in my elbow. It's probably been about at least 3 weeks, if not 4 weeks. And so I'm sort of out of action. So it's been a bit tricky to make a podcast because I can't do anything at the moment. So I thought that today I would talk about, sort of spring and coming into spring, what I've been up to. And I've got an idea for 6 of my sort of top favorites that I've got in my Ravelry for some spring and summer knits. I'm in Australia, so we're obviously coming into the hotter months while the rest of the world's going into the cooler months. And so it just got me thinking about, I haven't really got any summer or spring knits in my wardrobe yet. And so I've just been sort of scrolling through Ravelry, looking at YouTube videos, getting inspired by other people. And I've come up with a few that I've added to my list, and I thought that you might be interested in hearing about. Some of them you probably know, and perhaps some of them are new to you like they were new to me. I'll give you a quick life catch up and then I'll get started. So if you're not interested in the life stuff, just skip ahead. So so with the whole arm situation, I've just had my latest physio review. So my weight, like carrying weight with 2 hands, has increased a few kilos. My left carrying weight has increased by 1 kilo. So last fortnight I could only lift 1 kilo maximum. And she's increased that to 2. I'm still on light duties at work, which I work hospitality for those of you that don't know. And so obviously that comes with its own challenges, but I think it's been working pretty well, and I've had amazing support from my team and the company that I work for. So I'm very blessed and grateful for that, because it means that even though I'm injured, I'm still able to go to work, which is what I love my job. I get a lot out of my job. So I'm really happy that I had to wait 1 week total off, and I've been able to ease back into that. What I can't do, which has been really heartbreaking and disappointing, is what I'm passionate about, which is obviously the same thing you guys are passionate about, which is knitting, and probably some of you sewing as well. So it's really been a challenge, and not just physically but mentally. But I'm doing all the right things. I'm seeing a physiotherapist, I'm seeing my acupuncturist, I'm seeing my hypnotherapist, and we're sort of taking each day. God or the universe or whoever you believe in is sent this to test me. I'm not that good at asking for help, and I'm not very patient sometimes, and I'm not good at slowing down sometimes. So that is a few different life lessons. And yeah, I think it's, you know, it's not great that I'm injured, but it's good that my mind has had to sort of think about things a little bit differently. And my mum and I are in the motto at the moment, we're readjusting our expectations, because she has a trigger thumb and she hasn't been able to knit, and there's been a few things in the family, and each day, probably like everyone else, brings its challenges for different things. So our running theme at the moment is we're just readjusting our expectations, whatever comes our way, and that seems to be helping. So, you know, these things come to try us, and we, you know, some days are good and some days are not, and we just got to keep on going and get through them, right? We all have our challenges. Everyone in the world has their challenges, some more so than others, and yeah, you know, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I was going to chat about the book that I'm reading, however, I've forgotten to bring it with me, so I might clip that in onto the end. Yes, I think I will do that, because there's no point talking about it if I don't have it here. So this week, what have I done this week? Apart from going to work this week, I have been to the Penrith Show. So as I said before, we're coming into spring. It's day 2 today, 2nd of September. And so, you know, so all the flowers in the garden are coming out. They're stunning. My daffodils are up. And Penrith Show, so Penrith is the place in Sydney that I live. And so Penrith Show is basically like an agricultural show. It's obviously got some rides and things for kids or adults. They're not my thing. But the reason I went is because I really just love animals. And so I went to go and see the sheep and the cows and the goats and the alpacas and these weird little ducks with fluff on their head and these fluffy chickens digging around in the world's smallest goat. So I might pop a little bit more footage in here, because I know that you knitting fam probably equally like sheep and goats just as much as me.
In love with the duck.
That's so cute. That duck's so funny.
Oh, look at the rabbit in there.
He's a fluffy one.
Bless you. Oh, here you go. Oh, hi. I went with one of my friends from work, and it was just such a lovely afternoon, and it was just great getting out in the sunshine, and yeah, just had a lovely time. This morning is the first day off out of a couple for my week. My mum and I went up to Glenbrook in the Lower Blue Mountains, and we went to a movie, and we went and had brunch or lunch afterwards. Nice cup of tea. I wore these brand new overalls. When I say brand new, I got them secondhand from Facebook Marketplace. And I also got this cute little vest, which I do have a photo of here. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really nice. So my mum bought me that as a gift. How kind of her. Acquisitions, I have pre-ordered, my advent calendar for the year. This one is just for me, has nothing to do with knitting and sewing. My mum and I have a plan to make each other a knitting and sewing related advent calendar, which I have started gathering things for hers. And I imagine that she has for me. This is your reminder. I know you're watching. I love you. Hey guys, my phone just started ringing. Sorry about that. Anyway, I finished talking about life updates. I'm probably allowed to sew in moderation from probably next week, but still not on the knitting. And that's all right. We just be patient, we will prevail. So if you're here for me talking about knitting and spring knits and spring updates, stay tuned, stick around. I'm going to get through it with a little detail, with a few pictures. I will put all the links below, and I'm going to try and do that before the sun goes down. It is 4:45 in the afternoon, and I thought I would try and do this before the light went. So I hope it's light enough for you, and let's get started. So my top 6, it was very hard to choose just 6, but I picked 6 out of however many. There are 4 designers of those 6. So I will put a picture. So the first one is called the May Top. That's by Astina Krebs. And this is a sleeveless top. It can be done in fingering yarn. And I was inspired by this pattern from It's a Sarah. She's another knitting YouTuber who has some really incredible garments that she's made. And if you don't know her, I would recommend going to watch her YouTube channel because she's very inspiring. She's Dutch and she does one video in Dutch and one in English. So if you speak Dutch, great. Otherwise, just go and watch the English version. I have a feeling this light's going to disappear. Let me move forward a little bit. This pattern is French, but it's in English, as far as I know. That's actually a very good question. Oh, sorry, it's French francs, but it's in German or English. So as you can see in this photo, it's got lovely, beautiful lace central panel and ribbing on the edge. It's a little tank top. I think it would be really perfect in a really light finger weight yarn, and because of the lace in particular, would really work during the spring here because it gets quite warm and in summer quite humid, and so I think it would be good because it's like light and a bit flowy and air can get in, and obviously you'd need to wear something underneath so it wasn't like totally see-through, but I think that would be okay. And if you're brave enough, well, you know, wear a little bralette and then put that under there. So the second one on my list is the Rolled Edge Tank Top by Jessie Made Designs. Now, my mum made me a sweater, which is the Cloud Sweater by Petite Knits. And what I like about that sweater is that it has a rolled neck. And so the reason that I picked this rolled edge tank was because I think I really suit the rolled edges. And I really like a nice plain tank. Now, in the picture, in the sample on here, Jessie's sort of done a cropped version. I think for me, I would make it modified. I don't really like a cropped top, so I'd make it a bit longer with that. That's also fingering 4-ply, so it'd be quite light, and you wouldn't really have to wear anything underneath because it's not got lace in it. Sorry, I think that I probably should have filmed this tomorrow because I'm starting to get tired, but that's okay. We shall prevail. So by the same designer, Jessie Made Designs, and also inspired by It's a Sarah, is the Sunday Swirl Tank. Now, although I am inspired by It's a Sarah, I have seen quite a few knitting podcasters and people on Instagram knitting this. I think it's quite a popular knit, and as you can see here, it's got a lot of detail. It's got a bit of lace in it. It's top down. It's got some cable designs in there. From a technical point of view, it's got short rows, and so for me, who's kind of new to all of this detail, because I haven't been knitting for very long, 2 years. 2 years? Yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that. Might be 3. I don't think so though. I think it's 2. Or 2.5. Let's say 2.5. This one's a little bit thicker in an 8 ply, but I don't think that would be a problem if you pick sort of a cotton or a linen, or something light. And because it does have lace in it, I think again it's going to have airflow. And so I think it'll be quite good. That's my, these are my like wish list, remember. So I can't speak of how it is to knit. I can just sort of give you where I'm at before I knit it. And, my plan is to knit them. So it'd be good then to go into detail in another video, what I thought of the pattern, etc. So I'm trying really hard to not go too fast and to slow down. So the next 2 on my list are by someone that you all know, who's Rebecca Clow. She's a Scottish knitwear designer, for those of you who don't know. And there are 2 on my wish list by her, and I've actually purchased the patterns ready to go. One of them is the Sana cardigan, which can be done in short or long sleeves. And the other is the toasted tank, which is very popular. It's on, when you look in Ravelry, it's on pretty much everyone's wish list at the moment. And the good thing about the toaster is that Rebecca really gives a lot in the pattern. She gives a lot of options, a lot of variety in the style. And both of those are in a thicker worsted, so I think they knit up quite quickly. And using a silk, flax, cotton, linen would keep it light and cool and airy. I was thinking that probably something like Fiddlesticks Finch in the 10 ply could work. If you go to Rebecca's Ravelry store, you'll be able to see all like the different versions. I might put a few in here. I was going to show up on my screen, but I think that it's going to reflect the light too much, if I'm honest. And the last one is the Daffodil Vest by Audrey P. Busick, B-U-S-E-K. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It's in more of a sport, lightweight. She suggests doing an acrylic. I'm not really into acrylic just because of the environment, but I understand like from a cost point of view that it's probably a good thing to suggest this pattern, because it could be in someone's budget or price range. Obviously, buying anything linen, etc. is kind of, probably coming from a financially privileged position. Or, saving up for something, etc. But I think it's important to talk about that even though I may not choose to use an acrylic just because I have really strong views on the environment, even some of the sock yarns I've been using, they sort of have a bit of man-made fibre to give it that strength. I'm a little bit sitting on the fence whether I'm okay with that or not. I haven't done enough research yet. I've talked to some of the ladies at Knitters Guild to see their opinion if you actually need to have that in there. And it's sort of, I'm getting mixed messages, because obviously we put the nylon in sock yarn to give it a bit more support and to make them last a bit longer. But I'm quite heavy on my feet anyway, so perhaps I could even go without. I have some sock yarn that I have that doesn't have it in, that I'm going to knit with and test that out. and see if I can find an alternative with some natural fibers in there. I just think, I'm sort of doing this to get away from polyester, man-made fibers, things that put microplastics into the ocean, and I know that you can't get away with it. Like, even though some of this is 100% cotton, like this is 100% cotton, like we can all just do our best, right? And there are certain things like underwear, for example, I find it incredibly hard to find, and there are some brands out there, like I've had bamboo underwear, they don't last very long. So there's certain things that at the moment we can't get away with not having any man-made fibers in. But I think it's important to at least think about it and do our best. In the contrast to that, I also support anyone, whether it be a financial decision or just, that's what your preference is, or like maybe you don't want to get itchy. You do you. I have absolutely no judgment about that. So I think it's important to talk about, a pattern that's specifically tailored to acrylic, because you don't have to use acrylic, but it gives, anyway, I'm waffling on now, but you know what I'm trying to say. You do you do what you feel comfortable with. I don't think anyone should judge anyone on what they're knitting with. I certainly don't. It's just my personal preference. So this is suggesting, now as I said, I'm a beginner knitter, and the reason I picked this pattern is because, as you can see here, it's like so beautiful, it's intricate, it's got a bit of lace in, and it's also saying that it is perfect for like a beginner introduction to lace. So maybe that will be my first one to give that a go. I don't know. And it's like a little tank top, and it's just, I'm not sure if yellow is my color, which may then take away from the name daffodil, but the detail in it's still quite nice. So there's been, let's have a look, only 4 people have knit this, and it's in 44 Qs. So obviously people like it, but it hasn't really been knit a lot, so maybe worth having a hunt around if it's not. Oh, there we go. This, sorry, see? I should have done my research first. Available for free. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Download this for free. There you go. Free pattern. Bonus. Really good one for a beginner like me to get started on. An introduction to lace, introduction to a tank top, free pattern, lovely jubbly. So that one is by Aubrey Busek. I think I said that. I'm starting to get tired. I apologize. So they're my sort of 6 that I came up with, and I just was really inspired by. As I said before, I haven't knit any of them, so I can't recommend in terms of what I think the pattern is like. It's just certainly a little wish list and something to hopefully get you guys inspired for the spring. And if you're on the other side of the world, I think they could also work for the autumn, right? 2 for the price of 1. I think you could add longer sleeves to some of them. You could do them shorter. You could do them in wool instead of cotton. The world is your oyster. I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry that it's not like my usual episodes. It's just a bit of a struggle at the moment. I can't do anything crafty or creative, and so I don't have anything to show. It is difficult, I'm not gonna lie, and it is upsetting me, and it is frustrating, but I can't do anything about it. It's out of my control, and if I do it now and ruin my arm, I'm not going to be able to do it later. So will I get enough time in to get my gifts for Christmas finished? I don't know. At the very least, I will get some sewing in, because I think that in a couple of weeks I'll be able to sew, if not next week. because that's less intense, I guess. That's not the right word. Knitting's not, I could do like 1 or 2 lines here and there in a couple of weeks, I think. I'm going to get the clearance from my physio next week. I didn't ask her this week about the sewing. I forgot. But I'm going to probably give her a call tomorrow because I've got a couple of days off and just see what she says. And hopefully she says it's okay. So it's nice to see you here. If you want to see what I have been working on, there's plenty of you to catch up on in my other videos. I really hope that you enjoyed me just chatting about spring things today. Even if it just gives you a tiny bit of inspiration to go and have a look and to perhaps knit something for your wardrobe, whether it be here in Australia or overseas coming into your cooler months. I think there's something for everyone there. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for joining me. I'm really grateful for you all to be here. And I'd love for you to interact. I'd love for you to comment below what your favorite thing to knit for the spring is. And yeah, give everyone else some inspiration. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It doesn't cost anything. It helps me out. It helps other people see my video, and it will help you to know when I'm coming on next week. So until then, light, love, and positive energy, and I'll see you then. Bye. Hey guys, you thought you got rid of me, but I'm back because I totally forgot I was going to tell you about my book. And I've just been picking some snow peas in the garden and munching on my like lovely fresh homegrown snow peas. And I forgot that I wanted to tell you that I've had a good harvest of broccoli and carrots and snow peas and lots of lettuce. And I'm going to put a photo in here because I grew my first straight carrot. Most of my carrots have been wonky, but they've tasted amazing. But I have had one straight carrot so far. So here is a photo. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I really like to grow my own veg as well. So, right. So yeah, totally forgot to talk about the book. I'm reading another Jenny Colgan book. As you can see in the beginning of the video, it's called Sunrise by the Sea. What if a change of scenery could change your life? This is the cover. And all the way through it, it's super cute. It's got these little drawings of puffins between each new paragraph or like new scene. So I'll just give you a little read of what it's about. So when she's given the opportunity to move to a remote tidal island on the Cornish coast, Marissa Rossi decides that some peace and quiet might be just what she needs, which sounds like me. Since the death of her beloved grandfather, she's been struggling to find a way out of her grief. Perhaps this will be the perfect place for her to recuperate. But Mount Polburn, sorry, I can't pronounce that, is a far cry from a sleepy little place that she was imagining. Between her noisy piano-teaching neighbour and the hustle and bustle of a busy community, Marissa finds solitude is not easy to come by, especially when she finds herself somehow involved with a tiny local bakery desperately in need of some new zest to save it. And I'm not very far into it at the moment. Chapter 7. And the start of it, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. The start of it really captured, the chapter 1 really captured my attention. And it's got like puffins in the story, which I think is so cute. I'm an animal lover. So I'm in chapter 7. It's Jenny Colgan. This is the second book that I'm reading of hers. She is a really good writer. Well written, easy to read, easy to follow. And there's enough of a break, that if you want to stop during the middle of a chapter, if you're running out of time, if you're distracted by something else, that you can pick it up and put it down and remember it. And I have a brain that has dyslexia and has ADHD and gets distracted very easily, and so for me to have a book that I can pick up and put down, sorry, my cat's decided to get his treats out of his tower, but I'm nearly done, is really good. And yeah, and so far so good. I'll update you about that when I get a little bit further into it. I really will say goodbye now. Thanks for being here if you made it this far, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.